U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear the case of Kim Davis. Now, you may remember Kim Davis was a former Kentucky County Clerk. She's been fighting a decade-long court case over her stand for marriage and religious liberty. And some people had hoped that this would be the case that would lead to the overturning of the 2015 ruling that fabricated the right to so-called same-sex marriage. But obviously, that's going to have to come at another day through another case. And many believe, though, that that day is absolutely going to come. Not a matter of when, or it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And in fact, my next guest is one of those who believes that. Joining me now to share his thoughts on this is Matt Staver. He's the founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, which represented Kim Davis in this case. Matt, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. Good to be with you as always.
And likewise. So give me your overall reaction. I know you've been in the thick of this from the beginning, but your reaction to the Supreme Court's decision not to hear your client's case.
Well, you know, Jody, it was very disappointing, heartbreaking, frankly, because it certainly is a heartbreaking situation for Kim Davis, who now faces $360,000 in a judgment against her personally for just simply asking for a simple religious accommodation, that is to have her name removed from the licenses. She could not put her name on a license that affirmed a marriage that God does not design between two people of the same sex. And frankly, she got the accommodation she requested. She got it in September, just about 6 weeks after the lawsuit began. Following 6 days that she served in jail, she got that first accommodation from the Democrat governor who said, yeah, you could scratch through your name and that's okay. The license is still valid. She got it again in December of 2015 with the Republican governor, Matt Bevin, with an executive order. And then she got it by a unanimously passed law in April of 2016. So she got the accommodation. They got the license. But then it turned into a vendetta against her. So this case had really compelling facts. You have the first victim after Obergefell on June 26, 2015. She loses her liberty for 6 days. She gets the accommodation that she asked for. They get the license that they wanted, except it didn't have her name, and that's why they continued the litigation against her. And it's a compelling case for the free exercise of religion, even if they didn't want to overturn Obergefell yet, which I certainly think that they should. 3 justices have really clearly stated their opinion that it was wrong, including the Chief Justice. They could have and should have addressed the free exercise of religion and helped this individual who got the accommodation that she so clearly deserves. So why the Supreme Court does not take a case, you never know, because they don't give an opinion. They just say they denied it. Now, I know there's about 8,000 cases every year that are requested, and only about 1% are granted, very small number. But this case really cried out for review. And a lot of people, like you say, were watching this case. So unfortunately for Kim Davis, this case has come to an end after 10 years. But I am one of those very strongly, Jody, that believes it's not a matter of if Obergefell will be overturned. It's just a matter of when. So now we go into phase 2. The first phase essentially was Kim Davis, and that was the big opportunity to overturn Obergefell. But the movement, the stand that Kim Davis took 10 years ago and through this 10 years of litigation, I think is going to raise up legislators, local, state politicians and governments and individuals to challenge Obergefell, and we are going to clearly work towards that end. We will not rest until Obergefell is overturned. Mark my word, it will be overturned because it has no basis in the Constitution.
Absolutely. Matt, I just thank you so much for standing in the gap for in this case. You'd mentioned some very serious financial and personal consequences for Kim. How can we be praying for her in this situation right now?
Well, pray for Kim. She's an amazing individual. I mean, she had her life radically transformed just a few years before she was elected to the clerk position. God prepared her. So she really focuses on following the Lord. She knows what she did was the right thing to do, and she is trusting in the Lord for provision. So we're going now into the phase of discovery regarding her finances. She frankly does not have that much. She's in her retirement years. So you can't get blood from a turnip, but that's the next phase that we're going in. Continue to pray for her and Joe, her husband, her family, her children, her grandchildren. But she, as I spoke to her yesterday, she had a bad feeling in her gut, she said, just before the opinion came out, or the decision not to take the case. So she had sort of a premonition, if you will, that God just was preparing her for the fact that this case was ending. But she's in good hands, and she has an incredible, indomitable spirit because she trusts in the Lord. So thanks for praying for her. Continue to do so.
Yes. Thank you, Matt Staver, and all of you there at Liberty Counsel for the incredible work that you do, not only in this case, but so many others, and deeply appreciate you joining us today on Washington Watch.